Hey guys, Brandy here. Welcome to Sewing Back. Welcome to the kitchen. Today we are using some of the food that I was prepping over the weekend for the 4th of July holiday. I have family here, and I also had a class I needed to teach earlier this week at my senior center on foods and the way that all 50 states celebrates the 4th of July with a certain iconic food. For Georgia, it was boiled peanuts, which I cannot do, having a nut allergy or a peanut allergy. So I decided to take two other huge resources in the state of Georgia, which are peaches and blueberries. And so I made this Georgia deep dish blueberry and peach cobbler. This is a super easy recipe and super delicious. So let's get into it. So depending on the size that you want to do, this is one that you could make for just a couple of portions. You could cut it down, or you could do the recipe as I have it written, or you can do as I did for the 4th is I doubled the recipe because this does not last long. So the recipe is you take 1.5 cups of fresh peaches. You do have to peel them and pit them and slice them up. I have a peach pitter, which makes this job a lot easier. And then I took half a cup of some fresh Georgia blueberries. I did a cup of sugar. I did half of a teaspoon of cinnamon and half of a teaspoon, I probably did closer to a teaspoon of my homemade bourbon vanilla. For the crust, which will be the second part that I'm going to do, I'll tell you the ingredients in a moment. So what you see me doing here is I'm mixing in, I'm not crushing the fruit, I'm just trying to coat the fruit with the sugar, the cinnamon, and the vanilla extract. So with the crust, you're going to do, you're going to take half of a cup of butter and melt it in your deep dish pan in the oven. And then you're going to do 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and 3/4 a cup of milk. Now, as I said, I doubled this recipe, so my measurements were double this, so that I had enough to go around, and I had just enough to go around. This was a favorite, and it is gone. The great thing also about this recipe is the fruit is interchangeable. If you don't like peaches, or you don't want to do blueberries, you want all peaches, or maybe you want just strawberries or apples or blackberries or pears, you could do it with any of the fruits. You just use the same measurements. I also, I used all-purpose flour for the one I did at the senior center, but the one that I do for my family, I actually use freshly milled grains. And particularly I love Kamut, and that just gives a really nice crust, and that's what I did. You're going to bake this. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. While your oven is heating up, you can go ahead and put your deep dish pan with your butter in it. You want it to melt, but don't burn it. Then you're going, once you do that, you're going to coat your berries, get that mixture ready. You're going to get your flour mixture ready. And the flour mixture, it's good if it can sit a few minutes. I used whole milk. You could also use buttermilk. You could also use kefir. If you want to get some more gut healthy bacteria. I've used all of them. I just happen to have whole milk on hand for this recipe, so that's what I used. If you like sourdough and you kind of like that flavor, you can totally get that with a kefir. So then we get that all mixed up, and I kind of let those sit while I'm waiting on my butter to melt. So now I have my butter melting, and so what you're going to do is you're just going to pour over your mixture of the flour, milk, and baking powder mixture. And you don't want to stir it or mix it with the butter. You just want to try to get it in the pan. You kind of want to evenly get it to drip out in your pan naturally where it's going to fall. And then you're going to do the same with your fruit mixture. Now this I will tell you to be careful because that butter is very hot and it will kind of splash up and burn you, splatter on you if you're not careful. So again, you just want to try to get the fruit all over the pan without stirring it. You don't want to stir it. And then one of the things, little trick I've learned is you can take a little brown sugar and just sprinkle the little bit of the brown sugar on top of the fruit, and it's just a little, gives it a little nice finish. So thinking of the layers and how you made this, you may think, well, how does this turn out? Well, it turns out pretty well. You're going to put this in your oven, like I said, at 350 degrees, and you're going to bake it for 1 hour. So you can see I have two of them there. One was actually for my senior center presentation, and one was for my family. And let me tell you, those peaches were divine. I got those on the way home from our vacation at a southern farm in Georgia, and they were so good. So now we're just waiting for my time to be up to pull out the cobbler, and looky there. If you notice, the crust comes up bubbling over your fruit, and it is just heavenly. I will tell you that we like to eat ours with some vanilla ice cream, and we as a family devoured it. I actually made a blackberry cobbler for the 4th of July today, and it's gone. So I hope you'll give it a try. Happy Independence Day.